Welcome back everyone to Pommyinoz. If you are new around here, please drop a like first of all and subscribe. We're smashing out likes. And these legends below, they joined the channel. I'd love to make you part of the Pommyinoz crew. And also everyone who watches this video, who comments, goes into a chance to win a subscription of their choice, a picture of their choice from our website, pommysportsalmanac.com.au. And I'm a bit bubbly today, a bit peppy, but let's talk about that horrific loss. Carlton versus the Lions. 63-28 we went down, and it was tough viewing. It was tough viewing. I was live for it, so thank you very much for those who joined me. Where do you begin? I mean, let's break this down into bite-sized chunks because there's a lot to eat. It's like a weekend at your nana's. I know they were stretched. There was some late outs. But firstly, let's talk about Farquharson on Brazali. Mental matchup, and it lasted nearly the whole game until the fourth quarter before Kes Harrington went on her. She could do what she wanted, and she was a real conduit for their inside 50s. And when you break the numbers down just into raw data, 50 inside 50s to 30, and I always say that if you're losing the inside 50 count, that means you're behind the 8 ball. Your tackles should be higher. We lost the tackle count almost by the same margin, 49-32. And I look at the game on the whole, and there's two huge takeouts for it. One, I'm questioning why we've released these players. Like Downey was delisted. Moody was on her own 90% of the game, and they worked her really well. And this was no different to the Collingwood game or the Geelong game. Like, it's not a surprise. We knew it was coming. Because our inability to stop inside 50 counts through corridor defence and fuel good positioning by using good ball movement is evident in this game. We talked about it a lot under Teague. Watch this game and you'll see what I mean. Girls are horrifically out of position. In transition, their ability to get back, it's too far to run. Their movement when they have the ball, they are covering a lot of distance by foot to have the ball aerially front of them by foot. Long kicks, always out of position, because when the ball is in the air, the ball is in contest, is my argument. And you watch this, the girls have got to run twice as far to attack and defend. They're not together. You watch the ball carriers. There was a few times that Moody did really well and did drop back off the ball. And she looks ahead and girls run to a position 40 metres away and stand there. So she's just kicking to contest, which then the ball gets turned over, and this same girl has now got to run 40 metres back to get in a defensive set. Created outnumbers all around the ground. Absolutely balmy. Like, when you look ahead when one of the Carlton girls has the ball, when you actually see Brisbane girls running towards the lead patterns, you've got huge issues as a football club. And these inside 50s, our backline massive. When you've got Lofi and you've got Harrington, very good footballers, it masks all your problems. It's like the men with Jones and Wheatering. It masks your problems because they're so good. People forget last week Harrington had a 100% disposal efficiency game where she tore it up, and we beat an inexperienced, pretty much below par Geelong side. Brisbane aren't that. They know what to do. She can't do it all the time. It's impossible. Having a good defence will always be hemorrhaged. It's why when you watch soccer and you can park the bus, good teams park the bus down. It's tough, but it happens because you knock on a door long enough and hard enough, you do it. My first question is, why, when you've lost these players, you can't replace some of the players we've lost. The Hoskin twins, Downey, you can't replace them in the draft. Why haven't you changed your game plan and then gone into the draft looking to change that? The AFL game now is all short, sharp, running it inside 50. Carlton are the only side this weekend who have played a game where they're just bombing it in. And what makes it worse is no one sits at the front of a marking contest. Everyone just expects you to mark it. There's no help. There's no shepherding. When the ball hits the deck, there is no communication. 3 of the Brisbane goals were caused by defenders looking at each other as the ball bounces and being like, oh, you going to get it? Am I going to get it? And it's okay criticising Hartford because Hartford's fucking useless. That's obvious now. That's beyond question. People say he won a fight. He got to the finals in 2020. So done since then. People are easy criticising Darcy Vessier, Nicola Stevens. Oh, 9 touches, 6 touches. Playing full forward. If you had any bets at full forward, he'd be crap as well. You know what I mean? It's not their position. Look at the inside 50s and how we move the ball in. It's lofted. If you're playing this game, you have to have someone living in the goal square because it creates a natural outlet. It makes them force a defender back. We don't. We kick to a toe target that doesn't exist because Taylor Harris isn't there anymore. We've got Darcy there, and they do a great job. They do a great job, but it's not their game plan. You want to be kicking that flat and low like Collingwood do to Chloe and let them run onto it. Do you know what I mean? Let them do their thing. Instead of trying to create a one-on marking contest. It is really woeful when you've got a player like Courtney Jones who really does compete aerially really well, but you've got a player across the half forward. The outlet ball, playing that Levi Casbolt role with, we need someone on the half forward line to be a little bit of a body. Tactically, there was no changes as well. It was rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's times where the girls get these handball chains going, but then the pressure makes them miss the handball. And then you have Hartford saying, we overused the handball. And they use it as an excuse to really buy into their philosophy. That's a lie. AFLW and AFL men's is an adapting game. It's now a short, sharp, kicking, ball movement game. And the reason is you only look at sport. When you've got possession of the ball and you can make opposition chase shadows, you create space linearly. You watch our game, and honestly, please, if the AFL are watching this, ban anyone who played footy in the 90s from the sport. Please, for heaven's sake. It's an archaic philosophy. The game is moving on and you're only hindering it. Because this squad of girls is good enough. If this was coached in a Fremantle system, this was coached in a Collingwood system, they'd be getting results. You look at these girls now and they're making mistakes, and that is a clear sign for me that they don't quite buy into what they're being sold anymore. And it's the David Teague philosophy, round 2. Players give 100%, they won't give the extra 10% if they don't believe in it. And you can see the belief is gone. I'll look at some of the girls playing. Maddie Prasparkis, I'm looking for her to inject rhythm into this movement. And even she's starting to get lost in it. She's looking for that outlet ball, and then she's having to just dink it forward and give up possession. It was one of the easiest 35-point wins I've ever seen. I don't think Brisbane were tasked. And what worries me about watching it and looking at it on a linear perspective is how rudimentary the mistakes are. From entries inside 50 being really poor and not giving ourselves the best opportunity, to the kick-off halfback, and you're asking Kez to make a 45-yard pass through 3 players. No one runs towards the ball carrier. I remember when I played as a forward, there was 2 things that my coach used to drag into me as a soccer player. If my midfield is getting battered, I run towards the midfield and help them, create that, run towards it. And the reason was, and it was the same in set pieces, run towards the set piece because it's easy for them to hit a target, moving towards them, moving away from them. If they're struggling to find you, sacrifice your game for the greater good. Get involved. And you see that, the space that we create is begging to be hit on the counter. It's no surprise that you can turn over from Carlton, AFLW side, and score goals. Because defensively, we are so far spread. We are saying, here's a space, here's a bit of a field, go and play in it. I look at this, and it's going to be a long, hard season because you've got Adelaide and North coming up next. And there's 100 points there. If conditions are right. And that's taking away, the umpiring was woeful at times, but it doesn't account for 6 goals. It doesn't. It's not 6 goals difference. It's really poor. And then the discipline goes, and the last quarter was really hard to watch because it was girls who didn't want to be there anymore. It was almost humiliating to watch them. The positives are Courtney Jones kicking the goals and didn't celebrate them. I wish the men would do that. A little bit of fucking pride with yourself. But that is really worth it. And I don't know. We talk about coach killing games, and I get lost in the world of AFL, how you can survive that game. Like, I watch EPL, and they get sacked on them performances, and it's not because they're trigger happy. It's because the owners and the powers that be have a little bit of fucking acumen, and they see the signs there. It's too nice. It's too nice. It's professional sport. It's professional sport. They have not evolved. They've stripped the list back. They've made some horrific list decisions, which could be accommodated if you change game style and you say, look, we're going to play a bit smaller brand. We're going to play a more ball-retentive game. We're going to play a quicker brand. It's slow. It's arduous. It's archaic. It belongs in a museum. And I'm sick of blue sides playing football that may have worked in the 90s. It's not the fucking 90s anymore. It's 2022. Evolve. Be better. It's not rocket science because every team is doing it. I watch Carlton girls play and I love my female football. We are by far the worst side structurally, systematically. And then I look at the list and I'm like, fucking hell, we've got some good players. Some very talented players. Very talented players. And we're languishing bottom 4 if you count the games where people catch up to us. If this side finishes bottom 4 in this ladder, Jesus. I'd love to know if the review covered the girls, because I swear it hasn't. And the mistakes are our own doing. Tactics, that's on us. Preparation, that's on us. Communication, that's on us. Like, there's no mythical formula. Someone needs to own it. I heard Harford talk, and like his halftime with the media was banter. It's almost like he's never watched his teams play. It was like he was just there for the first. Oh god! Oh, this is what I'm fucking coaching, is it? It's poor. It is beyond belief poor, and we need to look at it. We need to look at it ASAP, because you've got new clubs coming in. Will these girls want to stay? And I've got a feeling that internally in that camp, everything ain't brilliant. I think if they look at themselves long hard, do they believe in what they're doing? The answer would be a definitive no. It's really disappointing because these girls are a lot better than what they showed at the weekend. But they've got to take some of the blame. But also, your preparation, your structure helps you out. You feel confident in the system. You hear Melbourne talk about how confident they are in their system, that it's like a safety blanket. Our safety blanket is a raggedy fucking rag, man. It's poor. So easy to break down. It's so easy to break down. You see the writing on the wall. The win last week is basically this against a good side. And I think it's arrogance that we don't change. I hate that A word, but Carlton, it's arrogance. We're Carlton, we don't have to change. The AFL does. Nah, we're nothing. In the AFL, we're nothing. Our brand name is historical, but it means nothing in today's game. We need to adapt. The great Carlton clubs were at the forefront of innovation. Stop trying to resurrect the old wheel and fucking build a new one. Do you know what I mean? Medieval times. Do you know what I mean? If you were walking with your food on your back, the guy with the horse and cart got there first and sold his wares before you did. Be the horse and cart. Be the car. Be the fucking hovercraft. Do something. It's poor. Next week is going to be a tough game. I hope you join me on the watch long. But let me know what your takeouts were. Courtney Jones was phenomenal. She's beyond exception. Brilliant. And she battled hard all day. But a lot of work to do in a very disappointing game. And it spells a bit of doom and gloom. Let me know what you think in the comments. Much love. Enjoy your week.